National Electrical Code Section 404.18 states that electrical equipment shall not be installed in or on the back of bathroom walls where they are subject to water spray or splashing. This requirement applies to all electrical equipment, including circuit breaker panels. A bathroom sink is a source of water spray and splashing. Therefore, circuit breaker panels should not be located directly above bathroom sinks. The location of circuit breaker panels above a bathroom sink is a violation of the National Electrical Code. In the event of a water leak or burst pipe, the circuit breaker panels could become wet and pose a safety hazard. Electrical inspectors will likely fail an inspection if the circuit breaker panels are located above the sink. The cost of relocating circuit breaker panels can vary depending on the size and complexity of the job. On average, it can range from $500 to $2,000. If it is not feasible to relocate the circuit breaker panels, an alternative solution is to install a splash guard or enclosure around the sink to prevent water from reaching the panels. It is necessary to have the circuit breaker panels moved from their location above the bathroom sink. This is a violation of the National Electrical Code and poses a safety hazard. It is important to address the unsafe placement of electrical panels above a water source, such as the sink. The primary concern is the risk of electrical shock or short-circuiting should water come into contact with the electrical components within the panel. This is why the National Electrical Code, or NEC, has specific regulations regarding the placement of electrical equipment in areas prone to moisture. Section 404.18 of the NEC is very clear on this matter. It stipulates that electrical equipment should not be installed in or on the back of bathroom walls, or really any walls, where they are subject to water spray or splashing. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a code requirement designed to ensure safety. The interpretation of this code is straightforward. Any electrical equipment, and that certainly includes circuit breaker panels, needs to be located where it won't be exposed to water. A bathroom sink is, by its very nature, a source of potential water spray and splashing. Everyday activities like washing hands or brushing teeth can easily result in water splashing onto nearby surfaces. Therefore, positioning a circuit breaker panel directly above a bathroom sink is a clear violation of the NEC. The consequences of this violation are serious. The most immediate risk is the potential for electrical shock. Water is an excellent conductor of electricity, and if water were to enter the circuit breaker panel, it could create a path for electricity to flow through a person who comes into contact with it. This could lead to serious injury or even death. Furthermore, water inside the panel can cause short circuits, which can damage the electrical system and potentially start a fire. For these reasons, an electrical inspector is very likely to fail an inspection if they find a circuit breaker panel located above a sink. Addressing this issue typically involves relocating the circuit breaker panel to a more suitable location. The cost of this relocation can vary quite a bit depending on several factors. Firstly, the size of the panel plays a role. A larger panel with more circuits will naturally require more time and materials to move. Secondly, the complexity of the wiring is a key factor. If the existing wiring is straightforward and easily rerouted, the job will be simpler and less expensive. However, if the wiring is complex or needs to be extended, the cost will increase. Thirdly, the distance the panel needs to be moved is important. A short move within the same room will be less expensive than moving it to a completely different part of the house. Finally, the accessibility of the new location matters. If the new location is easy to access and work in, the job will be easier and cheaper. Conversely, if the new location is difficult to reach or requires cutting into walls, the cost will go up. Given these variables, the cost of relocating a circuit breaker panel can range from approximately $500 to $2,000 or even more in some cases. It's best to get several quotes from qualified electricians to get a more accurate estimate for the specific situation. If relocating the circuit breaker panel is not feasible for some reason, there might be an alternative solution. This involves installing a splash guard or enclosure around the sink to prevent water from reaching the panel. A splash guard is a physical barrier that deflects water away from the panel. It could be a custom-built shield or a commercially available product designed for this purpose. An enclosure is a more comprehensive solution that completely surrounds the sink and prevents water from escaping. This could be a glass or plastic enclosure that is sealed to the wall. While a splash guard or enclosure can mitigate the risk of water exposure, it's important to note that it may not be a completely acceptable solution to an electrical inspector. The preferred solution is always to relocate the circuit breaker panel to a safe location away from any potential water sources. The NEC prioritizes the physical separation of electrical equipment from water sources as the most reliable way to prevent electrical hazards. In conclusion, having circuit breaker panels located directly above a bathroom sink is a violation of the National Electrical Code and poses a significant safety hazard. The best course of action is to have the panels relocated to a more suitable location. If relocation is not possible, a splash guard or enclosure may be an alternative, but it should be discussed with a qualified electrician and local electrical inspector to ensure it meets code requirements. The financial responsibility for addressing this issue typically falls on the homeowner. However, in the context of purchasing a home, it's reasonable to request that the seller remedy the situation before the sale is finalized. This could involve either relocating the panels or installing an acceptable splash guard or enclosure. It's important to have this issue addressed before closing on the property to ensure that the home is safe and complies with electrical codes. When dealing with electrical work, it's always best to hire a licensed and qualified electrician. They have the knowledge and experience to ensure that the work is done safely and in accordance with all applicable codes. They can also provide valuable advice on the best way to address any electrical issues in the home. Attempting to do electrical work without the proper training and experience can be dangerous and could lead to serious injury or property damage. Furthermore, improperly installed electrical work can create hidden hazards that may not be immediately apparent but could cause problems down the road. These hazards could include loose connections, overloaded circuits, and improperly grounded equipment. These issues can lead to electrical fires, shocks, and other serious problems. Hiring a qualified electrician ensures that the work is done correctly and safely, giving peace of mind and protecting the home and family. Beyond the immediate safety concerns, addressing electrical code violations can also have long-term benefits. A home that complies with electrical codes is more likely to pass inspections, which can be important when selling the property. It can also reduce the risk of future electrical problems, saving money on repairs and maintenance. Additionally, a safe and well-maintained electrical system can increase the value of the home. In summary, when purchasing a home, it's crucial to be aware of potential electrical code violations, such as circuit breaker panels located above bathroom sinks. Addressing these issues promptly and properly is essential for ensuring safety, complying with codes, and protecting the investment. Consulting with qualified professionals, such as electricians and home inspectors, can help identify and resolve any electrical problems and ensure that the home is safe and up to code. Furthermore, homeowners' insurance policies may be affected by unaddressed electrical hazards. In the event of an electrical fire or other incident caused by a known code violation, the insurance company may deny coverage or reduce the payout. This could leave the homeowner with significant financial losses. Therefore, it's important to address any electrical code violations as soon as possible to protect the home and the homeowner's financial interests. Regular electrical inspections can help identify potential problems before they become serious. These inspections can be performed by a qualified electrician and can help ensure that the electrical system is safe and up to code. The electrician will check for things like loose connections, overloaded circuits, and improperly grounded equipment. They will also inspect the circuit breaker panel to ensure that it is properly labeled and functioning correctly. Any problems that are found can be addressed before they cause a fire or other safety hazard. Electrical safety should be a top priority for all homeowners. By taking the necessary steps to ensure that the electrical system is safe and up to code, homeowners can protect themselves, their families, and their property. This includes addressing any known code violations, such as circuit breaker panels located above bathroom sinks, and having regular electrical inspections performed by a qualified electrician. By being proactive about electrical safety, homeowners can create a safer and more secure living environment. In addition to the National Electrical Code, many local jurisdictions have their own electrical codes that may be more stringent than the national code. It's important to be aware of these local codes and to ensure that any electrical work complies with both the national and local requirements. The local building department can provide information on the local electrical codes. They can also provide guidance on how to obtain the necessary permits for electrical work. Obtaining the proper permits is essential for ensuring that the work is done safely and in accordance with all applicable codes. It also provides a record of the work that has been done, which can be helpful when selling the property. Furthermore, failure to obtain the necessary permits can result in fines and other penalties. Therefore, it's important to contact the local building department before starting any electrical work to determine what permits are required. When choosing an electrician, it's important to select one who is licensed and insured. A licensed electrician has met the requirements of the state or local jurisdiction and is qualified to perform electrical work. Insurance protects the homeowner from liability in the event of an accident or injury caused by the electrician's work. It's also a good idea to check the electrician's references and to read online reviews to get an idea of their reputation and quality of work. A reputable electrician will be happy to provide references and answer any questions. Finally, it's important to get a written estimate from the electrician before starting any work. The estimate should include a detailed description of the work to be performed, the materials to be used, and the total cost of the project. This will help avoid any surprises and ensure that the homeowner is aware of the cost of the work before it begins.